Hi guys, Coach Charisse here, and I just wanted to have a little talk with you about feeling defeated and being discouraged. Everyone feels that way at some point in time. Most people probably feel that way, weekly or daily or whatever. I know, I feel that way quite often. Um, so I have had a hard struggle the last couple weeks. I'm not going to go into all of that here. I want to keep this video a little bit shorter. So just feeling like, you know, um, my business isn't moving how I want it to, and what's wrong with me, and then you have negative self-talk, oh, you're not going to be able to do this and achieve this, and whatever. And that's when you just really have to. I think for me, I always think about other coaches, top coaches, and think, the only difference between them and me is that they've been doing it longer and they didn't give up. So don't do that either. That's what I tell myself. I 100% believe in Beachbody, and it's a totally legit company. And so I know that it just takes time. And I think that's another reason why I get frustrated, because I'm very instant gratification, as most Americans are, probably a lot of most people in general. And in this kind of business, any network marketing business, you aren't going to really see that success that you hear about and that others are achieving right away. It's not instant. It's not like you get a job and you work for 2 weeks and your 40 hours and then you, or your 80 hours or whatever, and then you get your paycheck. That's not really how this works. So, something that we say in this business is we are willing to put in the time that it takes now to have a life of freedom later on, because that's really what it is. You put in your 5 years of really just doing it, and then you're going to have the whole rest of your life to have the freedom to be home with your kids and to do all the things that you want to do and whatever your goals and dreams are, and traveling and things like that. So anyway, that's something that I think really that's kind of what frustrates me. So I have 4 action steps for you, and the first one is ask questions. So when I'm feeling frustrated, I kind of start to say, okay, Charisse, what are you frustrated about? What really is the problem? And a lot of times, it's that I'm not doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm frustrated and I'm upset, or I'm this or I'm that. And, people say things and they kind of have to pull you up by your bootstraps. And sometimes that can be, you can be like, oh, well, I just want you to, go, oh yeah, that sucks, but this is not that kind of business. So when my coach reaches out to me and says, hey, blah, 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 your first reaction is to go, well, that's rude, or gosh, how about just oh, so sorry, or whatever. But you know why? For me personally, of course, this all relates to me personally, is I get like that because I know that she's probably hit the nail on the head. She's probably said something to me that I know isn't true, and that's why I get defensive. That's why immediately, my emotions are hurt feelings and frustrated or whatever. And a lot of times it's done via text or online, so you don't know the context in which that is. So I say to myself, okay, don't take it personally. Don't make assumptions from what she's saying. You don't have it in context. You don't hear the tone in the voice. You just see the words. And you have to be really honest with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Why am I frustrated? Why am I upset? Things like that. And you will figure out eventually. I think it's kind of like an onion. You kind of start to peel away the layers when you start to ask those questions, and you can kind of get a better idea of why you're upset. And when you know those things, you can address them and you can correct them. When you don't know, and you can't change that, right? So that's my first one. Number 2 is think about your why power. I love why power. It's something that one of my favorite coaches in this business, Amy Silverman, that's what she says. Think about your why power. And Power is such a powerful word, because I think it does make us feel like we have some control. So when I get frustrated and I'm feeling defeated and like I might not be able to be as successful as I dreamed I could be in this business, I have to go back to my why and think, why did I start this business? What was my goal when I initially started? Because that is going to keep you moving forward. That's going to drive you to want to work through these times. And believe me, everyone has them. You're going to have them. Top coaches have them. I know my coach has them. I mean, it's because we're human, and it's human nature to doubt ourselves and to have negative thinking, and you just have to learn how to correct those things. So really think about your why power, and if you don't have a really deep down gut-wrenching why, get one. You need to think a little bit further than, oh, I want to help people, and oh, I want to make money and work from home. You really have to think beyond that to get that really powerful why. Number 3, find support. If I have a success partner who is amazing and awesome and I love her, but I also have a group of girls who are my original first team cup, -1, and we talk every week. We have talked pretty much every single week for an hour on a Zoom chat since February, when the first team cup was. And it's kind of funny because this last team cup we kind of spread out and went on different teams, and then we've kind of agreed this time that the next team cup comes around, we'll find our 5th, and we are going to stick together this next time. Not that we don't like separating and going and meeting other people and growing other relationships, but sometimes it's just nice because it's familiar, and we can say, hey, kick each other in the butt. Sometimes when don't have those real relationships with people, because a lot of times when you're on a team cup, you're meeting people for the first time in your team or whatever, and as I said, a lot of people have not read the 4 agreements, so they take things personally, they make assumptions, they take what you're writing out of context or whatever the issue may be. So I always feel like I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I also feel like, okay, if you know that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then do what you're supposed to be doing. So sometimes it's easier just to like give your friend a kick in the ass and go, hey, what's going on? Whatever. So find support. And if you don't have a success partner, you need to get one. You don't have to be in this business for a super long time or be a successful or whatever. Your success partner is there to help you, because your coach, your sponsored coach, will not be able to be your success partner all the time. There are so many times that I want to reach out to my personally sponsored coach, but I know she's busy. I know she's leading a team of over 1,000 coaches. She's busy. She doesn't have time for me to just chit chat with her for an hour on the phone. And that's why your success partner's vital. That's why having a success group even is vital. It really makes a huge, huge difference, and it keeps you accountable. If you know you have someone that you have to talk to every week, and you've said, okay, these are my goals this week, and I have to talk to this person, and I have to report back to them, that holds us coaches accountable. So find support. My 4th one is going to be do more personal development. I really have kind of had this aha moment this last couple weeks, because I'm really good about personal development. I love to read. I love to learn. I really feel like knowledge is power. You cannot unlearn something once you learn something. So I love to read. The library is one of my favorite places. I always say, I'm in my office right now, but I always say when my kids are out, one of their rooms is going to be a library. I'm a very book person. I don't like e-readers. I don't like Kindles. I want to smell the book. I want to feel the pages. I want to see the front. I don't know. There's something. Maybe it's because I'm 40 and that was my generation. I don't know, but I love books. So I always say I'm going to have a library with a beautiful lamp and a comfy chair and all my books. And so that's something I really love. I love to read. So, but I realized the last couple weeks that there's 2 types of personal development. There's personal development that's going to help you be a better leader, a better coach, a better entrepreneur, a better business owner, all of those kinds of things, like more business oriented, how to goal setting, things like that. And then there's personal development that works on you, your emotional health, your mental health, changing your thinking processes, giving you tools to learn how to change your negative into positive, things like that. and I was like, well, I'm doing my personal development. Why, what's going on? Because a lot of times in this business, you see people who are giving excuses, or they're not getting things done, or they're doubting and they're like defeated, is because they're not doing that personal development. And that wasn't the case with me. But then I realized, you know what? I'm doing personal development on goal setting and, how to communicate with people better and things like that. I wasn't really doing work on myself. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start doing a personal development on, communicating with people, goal setting, like business kind of stuff, entrepreneur stuff, things like that. And then I'm also going to have a personal development book on just me emotionally, how to heal myself. I am struggling with depression. I've always struggled with depression. I have genetic depression, and also some addiction issues. So stuff that's going to help me be able to give me the tools to focus on, to deal with that and focus on getting healthier and my mental state and things like that. Now, you don't have to go out and buy all these personal development books. I, for one, love to invest in books. I love to buy them because, like I said earlier, I want to have a library. You always can go back. Once you read a book, that doesn't mean that there's nothing in it that you can't learn again, or you're going to take, every time you read it, you're going to find new nuggets of information, knowledge, aha moments, all things like that. So for me, when I can afford to, I really do like to buy books. I usually buy books every pay period. So, but if you can't afford to do that, I was amazed at my local library. Do you know that I was just listening to Jim Rohn, a seminar, and he was saying that 3% of the population have library cards. 3. That is crazy to me. And they're free. People need to access your library. They have so much good information. They have audiobooks. They have it's tons of stuff. And I was really surprised because I live in a pretty, it's not a huge city, that my library has a lot of really awesome books. Chances are, if someone's recommended a personal development book to me, that's the first place I look for it. And if I really like it, then I'm going to buy it. If you don't have access to that, listen to past national wake-up calls, because the people who are on those calls have found success in this business, but they always give you a background. They always give you a little background of their story, how they got to where they were, what their life was like before they found Beachbody. And you know what? You can relate with them because they're normal just like me and you. I always think to myself, the only difference is between them and me is that they've been doing it longer and they didn't give up. That's it. Because we get the tools in this business to learn how to do everything else. So listen to those national wake-up calls, because it will help you. It helps me. It helps me get my fire and go, okay, if they can do that, I can do this. If a mom is home with her 4 children and her husband's working at, whatever, making $15 an hour, and they're stressed and they have this and that and everything else and all these things, then in my life is easy peasy and I should be able to do this. So that's another tip. And also YouTube. YouTube has so much information, you guys. All the top coaches, a lot of them have YouTube pages. They all have YouTube channels. They have their information is free. It's open to the public. Anybody can search their videos and learn from them, be motivated from them, get ideas from them. And also your back office. Go to the training, go to the Success. They have the Success magazine back there. That is an awesome magazine, and it's people who make everyday small decisions that have brought them success. So you have a wealth of information that you really could tap into. So those are my 4 tips, and I hope that you learned something from this. And if you have any tips on what you do when you're feeling defeated or frustrated, then you can leave them below. Because I love to learn new things, and I don't feel like there's anybody in the world that I don't meet, that I won't be able to learn something from. I think a lot of times, the older we get, we think we know everything because we have life experience, but that's not true. I think when you think you know everything and there's nothing you can learn, that's when you're settling and you're shorting yourself, and our brains were always growing. We always want to learn new things. Change is part of life. You have to grow and change and keep up with the times. So, So I hope that these 4 tips are helpful. So let me know. Thanks.